Hi, I'm Nick Vujicic from the Ministry of Life Without Limbs. I love you so much, and I want you to know that many people look at me and say, wow, Nick, I can't imagine my life without arms and legs. Well, I believe that it's worse losing a loved one than having no limbs. Or it's worse having limbs and then being disabled in some way. John Erickson Tada is such a huge role model, an example of how God can take your brokenness and make something beautiful in His time. Trusting in God for that timing is hard, but what I want to talk about is this: not being afraid. You know how many times we see in the Word, do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid. Many, many times. It's hard not to be disabled with fear. F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. You know, there are some rational fears, but then there are some irrational. There are things that my parents were afraid of, and in not knowing what kind of life their son without limbs would be able to do by the grace of God. Not knowing what God had in mind, that was disabling. You can have arms and legs, you can have money, you can have things on the outside that you think are going to make you complete and successful. But I want you to know that without the peace and knowledge of Jesus Christ and knowing who you are and why you're here on earth, you're more disabled than I. We look at our outside and we think, oh my goodness, I'm so disabled. Oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. No, when you go in faith, faith will give you courage. If you have faith in God, He will give you that courage and grace to go afraid. When you go, G-O, in front of that word disabled, it spells God is abled. I love that. Don't you? I don't know how it feels to have an alcoholic father. I don't know how it feels to have a mother and father divorce. I don't know how it feels to lose a sibling. I don't know how you feel, but God does. And I think the fear of being alone is the worst fear of all. Know that you're never alone, that God is with you. He's going to pull you through. He's going to be there, always there to care. You may not feel His presence all the time, but hold on to that word. Hold on to that truth and cast out that fear. Perfect love casts out all fear. And there is no source other than the source of God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That love that caused Him to send His Son, Jesus Christ, to come to the world and die on the cross, that those who believe in Him shall be saved. That love, that God, that's the God I serve. That's the love that casts out all of my fear. Am I scared sometimes? Absolutely. Am I nervous sometimes? Absolutely. Are there unexpected things that happen in my life that I don't understand sometimes? Absolutely. But God is always with me, and His love will never change for me. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. He's a father to the fatherless, and He'll never fail you. I love you so much. God bless you.